Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. Alright, I am so excited for today's video. I have been on pins and needles watching the mail for the brand new Kosas Revealer Foundation. Now I am in my mid-30s, I have oily, dehydrated, acne-prone skin, and I'm also starting to get fine lines. Now I am a huge fan of the Kosas Revealer Concealer, so I'm really excited to see if the new foundation performs as well as the concealer. And while I try out this new Kosas Revealer Foundation, the topic of the day is going to be what are 3 myths regarding planning for retirement. So if you're excited to get started and enjoy the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and let's get started right now. Alright, I will get you guys zoomed in a little bit closer in just a minute here. I did just want to let you know, in case you are not familiar with this new foundation, the full name is the Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation Broad Spectrum SPF 25. Now this is supposed to be a medium buildable natural finish foundation. I just wanted to mention I also have the Kosas Revealer Concealer that I will be using in today's video. Now the only thing I have on right now is a little bit of eyeshadow on the upper lids and mascara. I will be finishing the rest of my makeup after we do the complexion products, and as far as the skin goes, the only thing I have on so far is moisturizer. Now I do not want to go in with a primer today because I do find that sometimes primers affect the wear test of new foundation products. So what I would like to go in with for today is actually another moisturizer. Now I do have oily skin, but it's also dehydrated, so I do need a little bit more moisture today. This is the e.l.f. Plus Glow Radiant SPF 25 Moisturizer. So I do just want to show you what my skin is looking like with nothing on it yet. So as you can see, I have a couple of blemishes that are healing, and my skin is always pink. It's just because I have a cool undertone. And I do have a little bit of dehydration around my nose and my mouth area. So I'm going to pump out about half a pump of this moisturizer. This is such an underrated moisturizer in my opinion. It leaves such a nice healthy glow, and even though it has SPF in it, I find it does not break me out, which typically a lot of products with SPF do break me out. So I'm really hoping that this new foundation does not do that either. So I will update you guys in the comment section whether this foundation breaks me out or not, because I will be using it over the next couple of days off camera as well. So if anything funny happens, I will be sure to mention it down below. Alright, the skin has been nice and hydrated, so let me get you guys zoomed in. Alright, before we get started with application, I do just want to let you know the shade I picked up is very light, cool 120. I will be doing swatches for you guys. Now on the back of this box it reads, a clean skin improving medium coverage foundation, powerhouse treatment plus SPF to reveal your best, most vibrant skin without feeling makeup-y. Your dream skin revealed. Alive, brighter, hydrated, visibly plumped, soothed, and protected. Skincare powered ingredients are hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, peptides, squalene, provitamin B5, arnica. What is arnica? I've actually never heard of that before. Caffeine, and a flower that I'm probably going to mispronounce, Artemisia flower. So those are the skincare ingredients. Now I have this product swatch on the back of my hand. I am not noticing any scent per se, but I do smell something, if that makes sense. I'm assuming it's just the natural ingredients, so I don't believe there's any fragrance in this foundation. Alright, so let me show you the swatches. So this is the new Kosas Revealer Foundation in very light cool 120. And this is the Kosas Revealer Concealer in the shade 0.05N. So I'm going to pump out about 1 pump on the back of my hand. Now I'm going to be using 2 different application methods. I'm going to do a brush on one side and a sponge on the other. BK Beauty 101 Foundation Brush. Alright, so I'm going to dip my brush and pick up a little bit of product. So I just have a little bit on the back of my brush. So once again, this is how the skin is looking without any product on it yet. So let's start with the forehead. I'm so happy I finally received this foundation, assuming it turns out well. The mail has been a little bit rough in the area that I live in, which is Michigan. I don't know what is going on, but I first received notification this was supposed to be here Sunday, then it said Monday, then it said Sunday again, then it went to Tuesday, but nonetheless, at least it's here now. I really wanted to get this video up for you guys since I don't think there are any shades of this foundation up for reviews yet. So I know when you are a cool undertone, it can be a little bit difficult to find your shade online, especially since a lot of shades that say they are cool tone actually run a little bit warmer orange. Now, right now, this looks like a perfect shade match, which again was very light cool 120. So awesome on the shade so far. I think it's looking great. So just as I was blending this in, it has almost like a grass scent to it, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's actually scented, but yeah, it reminds me of grass outside. All right, so this is one half of the skin with a brush on, nothing on this side. So I do think it's on the lighter side of medium. I don't think it's medium coverage right off the bat. Perhaps I will do some building in just a minute here, but so far this is what the skin is looking like with nothing on this side, foundation on this side. What do you guys think? All right, now let's try a damp sponge. This is my favorite sponge from Shop Miss A. So I just squirted out a little bit more, and as you can tell, the consistency is a little bit runny. So let me dip my sponge in and pick up a little bit more here. Start blending. I feel like this is covering my redness very well, even with the sponge. And I always get some on the tip of my sponge for the nose area, just to make sure I really get into those creases. All right, so what do you guys think about the sponge side versus the brush side? Does one side look better than the other? I am going to take my sponge and just kind of bounce over both sides just to make sure it's all blended in seamlessly. All right, so far so good. I will say that the coverage does look like a medium coverage now that it is all blended on the skin. I would imagine you could build this up a little bit, but I don't want the foundation to get too cakey, you know, especially now that I am in my mid-30s. But so far, I think it looks really great. I would say it definitely does lean on the dewy side. However, it's not extremely dewy, so I'll be curious to see if I get excessively oily throughout the day, but yeah, so far I'm really liking it. I think the coverage is great. It's not too much, but I think it covered all of my redness, so far so good. All right, I'm going to take my Kosas Revealer Concealer. Again, this is in the shade 0.5N. This is one of my favorite concealers of all time. I find that you can actually use this concealer as foundation, and it looks just beautiful. Now, I always start off with about that much. Using my Shop Miss A AOA Studio E102 brush. This is one of my favorite concealer brushes of all time. So let me start blending the left eye out. Get the other eye on here. The reason I love this concealer so much, aside from the fact that it looks beautiful on the skin as foundation, but I find it does not cling to any of my dry patches, and it just looks so natural on the skin. I've been using this concealer for so long. It's just one of my favorites. All right, now I am going to add just a touch more concealer in this area right here. For some reason, my skin likes to get a little bit red and pink, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit there. Nothing crazy, because I do want to see how the the foundation performs throughout the day, so just a little bit in that area. All right, so concealer has been blended out. You guys, this looks so good. I know we have not done the wear test yet, but as of now, I feel like my skin just looks very dewy and fresh. But as I mentioned earlier, I don't think it's excessively oily. So I'm really happy with how that application performs so far. So I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup and see you guys in 1 second. Do you guys ever have that one piece of hair that no matter what you do, it just wants to do its own thing? That is definitely, look at this piece, like no matter where I put it, it's just going where it wants to go. Okay. All right, you guys, so I just finished up the rest of my makeup. I just went in, you know, very minimal makeup today. Didn't want to add too much. Really want to see how this foundation performs. So now that the rest of the makeup is on the skin, what do you guys think about the finish of this new Kosas foundation? All right, as of now, I am really excited. I think this looks beautiful. Now, I do want to mention, I did add just a tiny bit of setting powder. I don't wear powder every single day, but I do know many of you out there wear setting powder. So I just took the tiniest bit on the tip of my sponge and just kind of lightly dabbed all over. So as of now, this is what the skin is looking like. I don't think it's really clinging to any of my dry patches. I think it looks really smooth and fresh. You can always go in with powder if you want to mattify it down, or if you want it to be more dewy, you don't have to use any setting powder. All right, so far so good for this new Kosas Revealer Foundation. Next, let's cut into the topic of the day, and then I will meet you back here at the end of the night for my final thoughts and a wear test. Hi everybody, welcome to the topic of the day. So there are 3 myths that I typically hear whenever discussing retirement plans. The first myth is that everyone should invest in a Roth IRA. Now, Roth IRAs can be fantastic for specific situations and many folks, especially in the United States. So I am not at all saying that Roth IRAs are not a great retirement option. The issue I have is when I hear that a Roth IRA is what every single person should invest in for retirement. So if you yourself are considering whether to do a traditional versus a Roth IRA to plan for your own retirement, I highly recommend not only speaking with a financial advisor, but also meeting with a CPA. Now this is because taxes and financial planning is actually very nuanced, and because everyone's situation is unique, their goals are different, I highly recommend speaking with both of these professionals. That way they can each collaborate on which tax plan is going to fit your needs best. The second myth I hear is that having one retirement plan will be guaranteed to be enough to have a comfortable retirement. Now, having one retirement account can in fact be enough to live comfortably for the rest of your life. However, there is one situation where this could really bite you in the back. And what I'm referring to is what's called sequence of return risk. So if you happen to retire when the market is down and you need to start drawing off of those retirement accounts, this can actually really hurt and dip into your retirement when you need it to last longer. Now, if you're not familiar with what sequence of return risk is, I will link that video down below for you guys. But basically it just comes down to retiring at the wrong time. And what I mean by that is if you have one account and the market crashes at the time you need to start withdrawing those funds, this could really hurt your retirement account. So having multiple retirement accounts may be an option you want to consider. And the third myth is that if you are planning on using a financial advisor to help plan for your retirement, that you do not need to involve a CPA. Now, the reason I say that this is a myth, and it might be a little controversial to what other advisors say, but I highly recommend bringing in your own CPA, or if you don't have a CPA, the financial advisor can bring in one for you. And the reason bringing in a CPA is so important is because finances and taxes often overlap. So it's extremely important to make sure not only is your financial advisor planning for your finances or retirement for the future, but we want to make sure that your tax advisor doesn't have any contradicting planning that they have already done or are planning to do. So those are 3 myths that I hear for planning for retirement. I do hope those 3 myths gave you something to think about. And as always, if you have any questions, don't forget to comment monetary makeup down below and let me know. All right, next I will meet you all back here at the end of the night for my final thoughts and a wear test. Hi everybody, I just walked in the door and got home from work, and my makeup has been on now for about 8 hours, and I have to say I have some really good news to report. So first, let me get you guys zoomed in so you can see what my skin is looking like at the end of the night. All right, you guys, this piece of hair Still, after a full day, it does not matter where I flip my hair. This piece is just like sticking straight out. It's driving me nuts. But anyways, let me come in a little bit closer. That way you can see what my skin is looking like, and then we will get into my final thoughts. All right, so here we go. So this side. All right, holy smokes, you guys. I am so blown away by this new Kosas Revealer Foundation. I have to say, I don't like using the word flawless because no one has flawless skin in real life, but I think it just looks incredible. So overall, I have to say I am a big fan of this foundation. I don't think I got excessively oily throughout the day. I don't find it really sat into my fine lines. It didn't emphasize texture. Just overall, I think it looks beautiful. So I am so excited to continue testing this foundation out. I want to try it with a few different primers. Now, what I will say is if you have excessively dry skin, I would highly recommend going in with a hydrating primer. It is a more natural finish, as I mentioned. So I just think overall, if you went in with a dewy primer, it would make your skin look beautiful. Now, if you have oily skin, then I would recommend going in with a mattifying primer. I think this foundation is going to be one of those holy grail products for many different skin types because it doesn't dry out the skin and it doesn't make it excessively oily. So of all the foundations I have tested out in the last few months, I do have to say this Kosas Revealer Foundation is by far my favorite. So now I want to hear from all of you guys down below. Are you interested in picking up this new Kosas Revealer Foundation? Have you picked it up already? Have you tried it out? If you have, let us know what your skin type is, what your experience was. Did you like it? Did you not? Let us know all of your thoughts down below. All right, well, I do hope the topic of the day was helpful for you guys, as well as the review and wear test. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.